Hey guys, Christy here from the Stamp Cycle, and welcome to day 3 of my 2016 holiday card series. Today we are creating this card using some inlay die technique and also creating a fun background using some border dies from Lawn Fawn. So I'm starting with this Christmas scene die. It's got some trees and a couple reindeer on it. It's a solid die, and I'm going to be cutting that out of a piece of Pool Party cardstock and also a piece of Whisper White. This is the normal weight Whisper White, not the thick kind. So once I've got both of these pieces cut out, I did use my precision base plate so that I could get a nice crisp cut image. You might want to run this type of die back and forth through your Big Shot a couple times to make sure all of these tiny little designs get cut out. I'm going to take another piece of Whisper White. I need to create a base to do all of my inlay die piecing together. So I'm just going to take and trace that die on a piece of Whisper White, and then I will cut that out, and that will provide a place for me to put all of these die pieces together. So we're going to be mixing the blue and the white die pieces together to give a finished look here. So I'll just cut this out, just following along the pencil lines using my paper snips. And now I'm going to start to take out all of the pieces from this die cut. So you want to be really careful when you're taking out all of the pieces because you can use both colors here. So you can get two of these inlay die cut techniques out of these two die cuts here. So once I have all of the pieces removed from the white die cut, I'm going to just take my tape runner there, and I'm going to apply adhesive to the entire piece of that we cut out there of the Whisper White, and then I will lay down the initial die cut there with all the pieces removed. And now here, this is where the inlay die cutting technique comes into play. So now I'm going to take all of those die cut pieces, I guess it would be the negative pieces, from this piece of Pool Party cardstock, and I'm going to fit those back into the die cut, but the white die cut. And they fit together just like a puzzle piece, but what's great about cutting out the background piece and applying the adhesive all over that is you don't have to worry about using glue and the glue seeping out. All of your adhesive is already positioned on that backing piece. You could use some stick-it adhesive to apply to the background of this, but I just find that tape runner works just as easy. So now I've got this jewel picker tool that I'm using to pick up these tiny little pieces of the die cut and putting them close to where they need to go, and just using my poking tool there to get perfect placement, and then I'll just push those down with my finger. The key to getting this inlay die look here is to make sure you get all of the pieces poked out and put back into place. So even the tiny little pieces between the deer's legs, and then there was this really small little circle that fit between the antlers there. And once you get all of the pieces together, you just want to push them down really well to make sure they're all adhered nicely to the back. And then you get this really cool inlay die look. You might have people go, wow, how did you do that? Because it really looks like a very custom piece here. And then don't forget, you can also use those extra white pieces up there, and you can inlay those into the blue die cut, and then you can get two inlay die pieces out. I did trim off any excess backing so that you just get the die cut here, and I just use my paper snips to trim that off. So this gives you a really great focal point for your card. So now I'm just going to show you how it worked on the rest of the card. I have these border dies from Lawn Fawn. I did not cut them apart. I keep them together because I really love to do this technique here with these border dies. If you line the border dies up, you can do this vertical or horizontal, and you run it through your die cut, and every time you run it through, you move the dies over just a little bit. You end up getting this really cool background. And then while I had my big shot out, I also wanted to cut a piece of vellum to put behind our die cut. And I'm using these rectangle stitch dies from Lawn Fawn as well. And I'll cut a piece of vellum out, you see here. But look how neat of a background you get by using those border dies to give you sort of like it's almost like a die cut embossed look. It's really, really pretty. It's subtle, but it gives enough interest and design that it really does add a lot extra to your card. So now I'm just going to use some 3M foam mounting tape here, and I will put several strips of that along the back of this inlay die piece. And then I'm going to pop that up onto this piece of vellum. I'm going to use my grid paper there to try to get perfect placement of that die cut directly into the center of the piece of vellum. Then I'll just use some Tombow multi-purpose glue here to adhere the vellum onto my card front. Now, I made sure to not put the glue outside of the die cut so that you don't see any glue on that vellum. So all the glue is hidden behind that die cut. And again, I use my grid lines back there to try to get perfect placement. And now I'm just going to adhere this entire card front to a A2 top folding card base made out of some more of that pool party cardstock. I love these colors for Christmas. It's not really traditional colors, the green and the blue, but I think it really works and it's beautiful. So now I'm going to work on the sentiment. I've got a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock here, and I'm just using those teeny tiny wishes. I've got the Merry Christmas. I just stamped that in Versamark ink, applied some white embossing powder, and then heat that with my heat tool. I did cut down the sentiment, and I will adhere that here in a minute. But first, I'm going to spray this whole card with some of this shimmer spray. This is in the sheer shimmer spray. You really want to shake this stuff up a lot. You want to shake it to the point where you can't see any of the glitter in the bottom. I just take this over to a box and I spray about 2 feet from above on the card. It's hard to see on camera, but it gives this beautiful shimmer and shine over the entire card. I love this stuff. You can use it on everything. I would like to spray everything in my house with it. It gives this beautiful, beautiful shine. So now I'm just going to trim down this sentiment. You know, I could have attached the sentiment before I sprayed that shimmer spray to also give this sentiment some shine, but I'm going to use my Sparkle Noir shimmer pen to add some additional shine to this. I'm going to take just a small square of that same foam adhesive and apply it to the left side of this sentiment, just so that is even with the die cut. I could also adhere the flag portion to the die cut, but I just kind of left it hanging there. And now, like I said, I'm going to add some of that Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to give the sentiment some shine, and you can see there how much shine that pen gives. So this is the card for day 3. Super simple. The inlay die cutting is really cool. Here's another example. You could use this as a tag on your presents and just put the 2 in the front on the back. So I encourage you to look at your dies and see what you have and give this technique a try. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.